Welcome back everyone, Meanpooh here, and this is going to be a repaste video using Honeywell PTM7950. I already have the bottom panel removed, and all that is needed is to detach the fan plugs and screws. Now the heatsink. The pink substance is Kryonaut Extreme that was applied just 7 months ago. The white substance is K5 Pro. The pink residue that you see that is on top of the K5 Pro is the thermal pads that were originally on the machine. Previously, it was very difficult to remove, and I would have done some damage if I attempted to clean the delicate area. The Kryonaut Extreme is still moist, as well as the K5 Pro. Now to clean the heatsink and processors for the new application. Here are the sizes of the GPU and CPU. One strip may work for the CPU and just cut away the excess thermal compound. I had a little trouble applying the Honeywell to the CPU. It would not come off the plastic and it ripped. The GPU side was fine and I was able to remove the excess compound on the processor. It's not necessary to get every bit of K5 Pro from the board, but try to get as much as possible. I applied some K5 Pro directly to the board and some on the heatsink. All done and ready to go. Here's a 3-minute benchmark that I ran as soon as the machine booted up. I was worried at first as it reached over 90°C immediately and then dropped to the lower 70s. The left side is 7-month-old Kryonaut Extreme, and on the right is the Honeywell PTM7950. This is no way of versus, as the Kryonaut Extreme is owed, which wouldn't be fair. If you would like to see the difference from a new application of Kryonaut Extreme until now, I'll put a link in the video description. Here we have a 3-minute stress test with around a minute to cool. The power was set to balanced and the fans to auto. The Kryonaut Extreme averaged between 75 to 76°C, in which it was thermal and power throttling. The Honeywell averaged between 70 and 71°C and was power throttling. Again, this is not a versus, as the Kryonaut Extreme is over 7 months old. I know you're probably tired of hearing me say that, but I just have to stress that this is an older application. The next test has the power set to performance and the fans to auto. The Kryonaut Extreme averaged between 92 and 93 C, in which it was thermal and power throttling. It reached a high of 94 C. The Honeywell averaged between 82 and 83 C and was power throttling. It reached a high of 90 C. The next test has the power set to performance and the fans to max. The Kryonaut Extreme averaged 91 C, in which it only power throttled. It reached a high of 97 C. The Honeywell averaged between 76 and 77 C and was power throttling. It reached a high of 81 C. In AIDA64, I will choose the stress options for CPU and FPU. I will let it run for 3 minutes. This test seems like it will destroy most CPUs if the cooling is bad. Before the repaste, it was getting an overheating message followed by 20%, and now it's doing great. The test ran for 3 minutes and average CPU temps were between 80 and 84C. In the next test, the previous components will be selected with the addition of the GPU. The disks and the memory will not be tested. After this test was done, I put the computer back to balance and fans to auto. When I did, the fans stopped spinning, as you can see. Once the excessive blast of fans were gone and the temps started to rise, the fans started to spin again. If you're wanting to know what is shown on the NitroSense graph, I'll gladly tell you. This is the first boot stress test. Next, in New Dawn, we have the ultra setting, power set to balanced, and the fans on auto. This is the next test with the same ultra settings, power set to performance, and fans set to auto. In the last test in New Dawn, we have the settings set to ultra, we're in performance mode, and the fans are set to max. Here we're using Throttlestop. The power profile is set to balanced and fans set to auto. Here is performance and fans set to auto. And here we have the power profile set to performance and the fans on max. Here is the AIDA64 test with the CPU and FPU options selected. And lastly, we have the second AIDA64 test in which I stress the CPU, FPU, cache, and GPU. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.